Have you ever witnessed something so raw, so wrong, so absurd you thought, there's no way I just saw that? That's what happened in the clinic parking lot that day. All it took was a woman's curly hair, a faded military jacket, and her black skin. That was enough to stop her cold. Forced to kneel in the street as if her entire life was just a box to tick, an ID to question, a threat by default. The cop didn't blink. Weapon drawn, he pressed it to her body and pulled the trigger. Blood soaked into the flag patch on her sleeve. Target neutralized, he muttered, like it was just another chore. But what he didn't know, what he couldn't know, was that he had just fired on an Omega-level operative. A woman whose signal hit satellites the second the shot was fired, triggering a chain reaction that would shake the ground beneath all their feet. Let me take you back. Sergeant Elijah Stone had just stepped out of the VA clinic, his daughter's small hand wrapped in his. His uniform was crisp. His boots mirror-shined. The flag on his shoulder faded, but proud. His daughter tried to keep up, clutching a ragged teddy bear and a juice box swinging from her hand. The sun blazed down, heat rising off the pavement. They were just steps from the car when the patrol cruiser screeched in front of them. Two white officers jumped out. One wore mirrored sunglasses that turned sunlight into a weapon. The other had already drawn his sidearm. Stop right there, as if they had caught a threat, not a father with his child. Elijah stepped in front of his daughter. Is there a problem, officer? What branch did you say you're in? The one with the shades asked. Army, Sergeant First Class, active duty. The officer sneered. Not buying it. Uniform looks staged. Patches are too clean. Where'd you get it? I just had an appointment. You can ask at the desk, but that didn't matter. You'll verify another way, kneel. Hands on your head. I'm holding my daughter, Elijah said calmly. I'm not kneeling in a parking lot with her in my arms. That's not a request. You're impersonating a federal officer. That's a felony. His daughter clung tighter. Daddy, what's happening? I have ID in my left breast pocket, he said. I'm not resisting, but I'm not kneeling while holding my child. Put her down, the officer snapped. She's 6. She's scared. I'm not a threat. You don't get to define that. Then the little girl spoke, quietly. My grandpa was a soldier, too. She pulled a battered old badge from her pocket. He said only real soldiers could carry this. The officer laughed. A toy? That your defense? His partner jabbed a finger at Elijah's patch. That's sacred. You're disrespecting it. You're lecturing a combat vet in front of his daughter, Elijah said evenly. We said kneel. You haven't. That's non-compliance. From across the lot, a bystander, white, middle-aged, lifted a phone. Are you serious? That man's in uniform. He's with his kid. This is outside a VA clinic. Back off, the officer barked. You don't get to make him kneel like a criminal in front of his child. The cop stepped forward. Elijah didn't flinch. He didn't raise his hands, didn't move, just stood a wall between his child and their authority. The cops made sure the camera caught nothing but asphalt. You hiding something? The bystander shouted. Leave the area. Elijah exhaled. You're escalating a peaceful moment because of my skin? This uniform? Kneel. Number. Then you're under arrest. I'm not under arrest. His daughter's voice cracked. Daddy, please don't let go. I won't, he promised. His eyes never left the officers. Everything was still, a tension humming in the silence like wire about to snap. Then came the command. You don't have to understand. Just obey. Elijah, I won't kneel while holding my child. The officer's face twisted. Drop the kid, or I drop you. She adjusted her grip, said nothing. The shot came without warning, a crack, then collapse. No scream, just her body folding to the ground, still wrapped around her daughter, protecting her until the end. The little girl pressed her face into her mother's chest. Blood streaked across her cheek. She reached for her pink phone, dialed. Uncle D, they shot Mommy. The officers were quiet. One finally spoke into the radio. Target neutralized. A woman across the lot screamed, "Oh my God." Too late for anything but cleanup. The shooter checked his weapon like he was brushing lint. His partner hovered, pale, as if scared the body might rise. The silence wasn't reverence. It was shock, the kind that hollows you. The girl didn't cry, just stared at the blood spreading across her mother's uniform. But here's the thing. The story didn't end there. No sirens, no apology. Just protocol. But within 60 seconds, 3 alerts hit Central Command at Fort Bragg. Civilian casualty, unauthorized engagement. Omega protocol triggered. Within 1 minute, Fort Bragg locked into Alpha Alert. Not a drill. This was wartime procedure. Police comms went dark. City surveillance blinked out. An unmarked military vehicle rolled in. A soldier in tactical gear stepped out. Scooped up the girl. Left without a word. The officer who fired tried to protest. Was shut down with a single look, the kind that outranks everything. The video hit the internet. No filter, no headline spin. Just a uniformed woman bleeding in the street. Still holding her daughter. Veterans recognized the patch. Omega, the kind of clearance you don't talk about. The kind that doesn't forgive mistakes. And just like that, the pin was pulled on a classified grenade. There were protests, hearings, silence from the city, but none of it could bury what came next. The Pentagon declared it a baseline breach. Doctrines were rewritten overnight. From now on, any service member unlawfully targeted by law enforcement has the right to defend themselves immediately. Her bloodied uniform was placed behind glass. No name, just a plaque. In service, betrayed. Then Eden, now 11, stood before Congress. Her mother's badge clutched in her hands. My mom didn't call it a mistake when she carried soldiers through fire. But you call this a mistake? Her voice didn't shake. A mistake is putting salt in your tea, not shooting someone who never moved, never threatened, never even raised her voice. She placed the badge down and walked out. The room stayed silent, because the truth had landed, and silence was no longer a shield. From that moment on, everything changed. Policy, training, the language of honor. Her image cradling the folded flag spread across the world. Not rage, not revenge. Just an oath. A debt the country had to pay, called out by a child who refused to cry. This was no longer about one mother or one uniform. It was about memory. About restoring what was lost when power looked away. So I ask, where you live, does honor still mean something? Or is it just a patch, a promise forgotten when it's inconvenient? Because that question doesn't belong to Congress, or the Pentagon, or two men with guns and fear in their eyes. That question belongs to all of us.